Welcome to Abandoned Items 4, joining a long pantheon of great sequels, including Jaws 4, The Revenge, Fists of Fury 3, which confusingly is the fourth film in that franchise, and Alvin and the Chipmunks, The Road Chip. For those who don't know, Abandoned Items is my video series about things I found abandoned by humans for one reason or another. I find them, I film them, I photograph them, I talk about them, and then I perform a poem about the entire experience. Now it's time for my catchy theme tune. We start AI4, as this sequel is known, with something really special and different. It's what appears to be an old VHS tape chucked into some waste ground beyond some barbed wire just off a busy road near where I live. Now, when I was growing up, the finding of abandoned VHS tapes out in the wild was reasonably common. Sometimes they might not even have a label, or perhaps the tape might have been snipped by an angry spouse, or a horrified mother, or a remorseful gentleman. Still, that tape could probably be fixed by sellotape, and then the tape itself could be passed around surreptitiously in school corridors by embarrassed fifth years. Hypothetically, I imagine. But today, the sighting of a VHS tape is a rare and beautiful thing, especially if it's displayed as romantically as this one, nestled among stinging nettles and dog wee, and just inches from an old can of K cider. Anyway, turns out this is no mucky video, it's actually a pretty decent Brit flick from 1980 starring Hazel O'Connor, Phil Daniels and Jonathan Pryce. 6.9 rating on IMDb, no ranking at all on Rotten Tomatoes. Heavy social comment, great music, fairly depressing ending. It's a strange place to dispose of a single unwanted VHS tape though. Surely it deserved a better ending than this. Teddy bears are common abandoned items because they're always falling out of pushchairs or being lobbed out of prams for a laugh by vandalous toddlers. Usually they're well soiled and overloved and covered in an absolute torrent of baby bacteria that could put you out of action for weeks if you were to touch it. But this teddy that I found while out with my son Leo was different, because, as you can see, it appeared to be brand new, its tag still intact and stapled through its ear. This junior warm heart was not only a teddy, but a teddy you can heat up to make it warm, to help make you warm. To top it off, it's been treated with wheat grains and a hint of lavender, like a sort of posh bread. On her foot is her name, Emily Warmheart, a name rich in assonance, calming, soothing, reassuring. A teddy that I knew would certainly help me to sleep on lonely winter nights. But clearly someone had kindly impaled Emily on a white stake in the hopes that her owner might come back to claim her. Look at her, waiting patiently, implacably, never losing hope. I knew I couldn't take her. She belonged to someone more deserving than me. So I left her there, waiting, hoping. I walked on, leaving that poignant scene, a lump in my throat. Then I heard a noise. I turned round, my heart lifted. Had her owner come back to claim her? No. Turns out Leo had executed a perfect roundhouse kick, and poor Emily was lying face down on the concrete, while Leo cackled with glee. I was so heartbroken, I couldn't even take a photo of it, even though I knew it would probably be really funny. Leo was the one who actually spotted the next item on my list, a pair of glasses. These are a real rarity. You might find some abandoned sunglasses occasionally, but actual prescription spectacles with beautiful tortoiseshell frames are what abandoned items aficionados like myself live for. Because the question is, how did they get here? Perched upon a post, like poor Emily Warmheart. Did someone drop them? Perhaps while laughing so hard their glasses fell off and they didn't notice and someone else came along and put them on the post so they wouldn't get stepped on? Or did the glasses wearer simply tire of their specs and take them off and whimsically place them on top of this directional post to sort of anthropomorphise it? Look, it's basically a character from a Pixar movie now. A friendly post offering directions to, I don't know, a lost sponge. The thing I want to concentrate on among this disparate collection of abandoned items is the juicer. Juicers head the list of household items that are bought with great excitement and sincere intentions, but are soon left to gather dust before eventually being left outside the home in the desperate hope some other sap will take it out of your life forever, and when they do, the cycle simply begins again with the new owner. These items include, but are not limited to, rowing machines, bread makers, soup makers, electric rice cookers, soda streams, wine coolers, and all the other pointless gadgets my dad has bought over his lifetime. The only thing worse than any of these is an ice crusher, which was a gift I bought for my brother one Christmas. Don't know why, it seemed like a good idea, but it was rubbish. Absolute rubbish, and he was fully within his rights to properly scorn me for it. The thing everyone discovers about juicers is that they are a wonderful idea that are far more trouble than they are worth. They sound great, but the horrific complex washing up caused by making the occasional tiny glass of pomegranate juice simply doesn't justify its existence. I reckon there's not a person on earth who's used a juicer more than about 6 times, and 95% of them are sitting at the back of cupboards, unused and unloved, until inevitably they're left out the front along with, well, a chair and a sort of empty basket that I genuinely cannot think of a single use for. Still, someone did pick up that juicer, and then the chair, and then a few days later, even the basket. But I absolutely guarantee that juicer will be back out on a pavement within 6 months. And finally, this collection, I will admit, made me quite angry. It's not the swimming hat, which on its own is a lovely curio and exceedingly rare to find on the streets. Unless you live near Adam Peaty, who I've heard regularly hangs his old swim hats on a fence post just outside his house so that neighbours can come along, pick one up and make a few quick bucks on eBay. And it's not the unopened jar of creatine caps either, a potential lifesaver should an impoverished bodybuilder walk by wondering where his next creatine fix is coming from. Crave it they do, all of them. Pop them like M&Ms they do. Lovely creatine. Firstly, I'm angry because of the reusable coffee cup. Call me old-fashioned, but I'm of the belief that reusable coffee cups should be reused, and I'll go further than that. Once you have a reusable coffee cup, it is your responsibility to use it forever or until holes appear in it, rendering it unusable. We simply can't go around swapping our reusable coffee cups every 5 minutes because therein lies chaos. But secondly, and more importantly, it's the pint glasses. Now, I'm not a criminal. Not really. But if there's one thing I have stolen in my life, it's pint glasses. As a young man, I smuggled them out of pubs however I could, wrapped in a coat, put in a bag, or shoved down the very deep pockets of my 90s combat trousers. I took glasses like these. We all did. People still do. The person who knits the Master Brew and Stella glasses here insults us all with their cavalier attitude towards them. For us, for me and you, the people, these are not just glasses. They are symbols of our daring, emblems of our carefree youth. The days when we drank big dreamt big and revelled in taking risks and sticking it to the man. The days when we coveted commercial pint glasses. But this person leaves them outside, an admission of guilt, a rejection of that glorious past. They're not turning themselves in, but they might as well do. It's like a challenge to the local fuzz. I'm guilty. Arrest me if you must, but I am repentant. And what if they do arrest them? What if the local bobby does decide to prosecute? Where does that leave us? Where does that leave us? Right, time for the traditional poem. Why? 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 I accept you may lose your teddy bears, or discard old juices, old videos, old chairs. You may decide you have no need for big pecs, that you look like a dweeb in your large horn-rimmed specs. I can even relate to the abandonment of baskets, but please, I beg you, keep a hold of pint glasses. Keep a hold of your reckless and rebellious youth. Don't ignore your transgressions, remember the truth. Petty theft was your game while drunk on vermouth. I don't understand how you could be so uncouth. Keep them, display them, make them a shrine. Keep them and fill them with beer or white wine. Keep them and drink from them all of the time. Keep them to remind you of your young life of crime. Keep them. Keep them. Keep them.